Morning, everyone. Thank you for all being here today. Today, we are going to be talking about how to brand yourself during COVID and beyond COVID. So it's branding 101. I mean, it's an hour that I have today, and then I'm going to open it up for questions. So I wanted at least to give the basis of the branding, since our whole world is changing around us, and what are the main principles on having the proper brand that we can be proud of as part of our business. My name is Sahar, and I am a cross-cultural marketing, diversity, and inclusion consultant and speaker. I am also a business advisor for SBDC, which is Small Business Development Center, a part of SBA, where I help entrepreneurs, small businesses, and startups either start their business or expand their business. That being said, I am going to start sharing my screen so I can share with you my slides. So here we go. So whoever really, and I'm going to minimize here so you can see it, whoever really knows me know that I'm a peacock girl. So like I said, today we're going to be saying how to brand yourself during COVID-19, and it's branding 101. As we know, what we are going through right now, or COVID-19 or coronavirus or whatever they want to call it, this is unprecedented time that none of us that are, or probably like maybe 2% of the people living on Earth today have experienced anything like that. We never in our wildest dream thought that this is something that could happen to us. So we are pushed right away as people to our primal brain, where we just want to survive. And of course, after a while, we start thinking, okay, how can we pivot from that? And how can we pivot and not only survive, but thrive as well? One of the things that I want to remind you, that as a brand, as a business, your business is open, even if you were a brick and mortar and you close down shop. So you need to let people know, and you can do that through proper branding. We are all starting a new normal, because life as we know it is probably not coming back, but it could be a better life later on after we go through all that. It's not business as usual. And that's why I thought to put this webinar together about branding and how to do it. During these uncertain times, the only certain thing that is happening now is that your consumer behavior is changing. And that's why we need to adapt to the changes as it goes. A brand is consistent because of its message and all of that, but we still need to keep flexibility and adaptability to the market and to our customers, that most of them now are basically going online, if not all of them. And that's why we need to rearrange, or we need to rebrand ourselves to be an online brand, plus whatever we had done before. Now is the time for your brand to shine. And that's why your presence online has to be even more. Your branding has to even increase. A lack of visibility can result in people thinking that you might have just gone out of business. This is the moment to stay on top of the minds of people. And let me tell you, people will remember who has been there for them. We started these webinars probably in the end of March, and it has been great. We are building a tribe, some of you are here, and it just like, so it's about how we come together so we can shine, all of us, and stay on the top of mind of our consumers or our customers. There is a new reality. So like I said, we don't need only to survive, but we need to thrive. And we need to win the customers based on the new reality that we have. So what we need to do is that we need to align or realign our branding strategies with the new pain points that the customer is starting to suffer. And we're going to talk in detail what is pain points and how do we get them and how do we address them and how do we even articulate them so we can connect better with our consumer or our customer. So our branding strategies need to align with the new pinpoints, the new habits that we're starting to form. I mean, who would have thought that we would be in front Zooming the whole day? There are even expressions that are new, like I'm zoomed out, you know, let's Zoom, so this is, we are entering a new word and a new culture, you know, that are having new pinpoints, habits, and even fears that are getting into our life. So one of the things that we can start with is to think about our call to action, or what we call CTA. And this is something that we're going to go through in details through the presentation today. So for example, if you had a brick and mortar and you say, come in our store for a meeting or for an appointment, I would change it to maybe book a meeting online and let's chat online, just letting people know that you are reachable, though you can do it online. And we're going to talk about all that in details. So one of the things that I always say to the entrepreneurs is never let the mentality being a small business owner make you small-minded. So I see it a lot that entrepreneurs start with their business and start thinking, but you know what? I don't have enough money. I don't have enough help. I don't have enough resources. And all that makes you small-minded and prevent you from abundance, and prevent you from even expanding your business, or even your brain to think about better ideas on how to grow and expand your business. Personal branding works and it defines you, but first you must define it. So the branding of who you are will define you, but first you must define yourself. And I want to let you know that all of us have a brand. Either we know it or we don't know it, either we apply it or we don't apply it, either we are aware of it or not, we are all a brand. The way we appeal to people, the way people look, how we are dressed, how we talk, what we present, what verbiage we use, all that is part of our branding. And branding is not only for like BMWs, Mercedes, and Tesla, or Angelina Jolie, but it's for every single person. We all have a brand, and we need to remember that. And we need to control it before it controls us. So what is branding? A brand is anything. Is your symbol, it's your design, it's the name of your business, is the sound, the verbiage of your business, the reputation, the emotion, the tone of voice that you use, and most importantly, it's what makes you stand out from your competition. So the images even that you use in your branding must be telling about, for example, who you are serving, how people perceive you, what is the promise that you deliver, because your branding is basically the promise that you deliver. So we need to do a self-packaging. Either we are an entrepreneur owning a business, or we are an affiliate, or we even are looking for a job somewhere. We have to be a full self-package, that we need to know our unique strengths, our unique qualities, our reputations, that will basically, we become hunted rather than going hunting people and have them as customers or as employers. So the most important part in personal branding are what we call the 3 C's: clarity, consistency, and constancy. So clarity meaning that you have to be crystal clear, not only on who you are, but also who you are not. Like, I'm going to ask you for a second, how many times you have gone to a website and read what they have written all over the pages, and it could be even a big brand, and at the end you say, I'm not really sure what services do they offer, or I'm not really sure if they can help me, because there is a lot of jargon and a lot of words that they think it's like sophisticated, but at the end doesn't make any sense. So you have to be crystal clear on your brand and on your vision and mission. And you have to be consistent across the board. So for example, if your business name or your domain name is a certain name, on social media presence, all your social media channels should be the same exact name. You cannot have one name here and one name there, because it doesn't work. People, when they fall into your channels, they should know it's you right away. through maybe the logo, the pictures, the colors, the tone of voice, you know, the name, everything, same values, same message. You have to be consistent across the board. And you have to be constant, meaning that you have always to be present in front of your clients and your audience. Specifically now that everybody has a lot of time on their hands and they're spending a lot of time online. You have to be there. Like I post every day from Monday to Saturday, 6 times a day. Thank you, Victoria. So this is what it's like. It's about us being consistent in front of this customers, so they know that we're here and we can communicate our message in a very constant way. If you go 1 day in, 2 days out, and then you come back for 3 days, and then you go out for 4 days, people will tune you off. If you do not take yourself seriously, no one else will take you seriously. Your brand has to be a serious brand and not a hobby. Like I always say, you treat your business as a hobby, your business in return will treat you as a hobby. So that's why we need to think about really what's the base of our branding. So you need, in order for you to attract customers to you, and let me tell you, the marketing and branding totally changed because of social media more than 10 years ago. So now we are in a market that is called pull marketing, meaning that you need to pull the attention of people to your brand rather than pushing your brand on people. Once you start pushing your brand on people, people will tune you off, will disconnect with you, you know, will not follow you anymore. So you need to pull their attention to you. And as human beings, part of our brain is, you know, if we remember the Maslow triangle or the hierarchy of needs, we need to connect with people emotionally so we can get, you know, their attention. So the first thing, you need to go through people's hearts to get to their mind, because as you know, the brain, our brain is consists of 3 different layers. The basic layer, or the reptilian, and that has to do with the survival. And I'm gonna make John laugh now. I'm gonna say amygdala. It's a secret word between us. So the reptilian, or the survival one, is layered above by the emotional brain. And then above that is the analytical brain, or what we call neocortex. So you have to go through the heart to reach the mind. And that's why part of, believe it or not, 80% of marketing and branding is psychology. So you need to understand the psychology of the customer that you are talking to be able to get to their heart. And once you get to their heart, you can go through their mind. This is how the brain is basically done. Think about your favorite brands for a second. You know, even if you have to close your eyes for a second. How does using their products or services make you feel? So it's about a feeling. Like we drive certain cars because we want to feel a certain way. We drive a BMW because we want to feel that status where people see it's a sign of wealth, or it's the ultimate driving machine. When Volvo advertises for their car, they do not tell you how the car is like, I don't know how many cc's, how many horsepower, how many miles per gallon, but they sell you is the safety of your family. So that's what it makes you feel. It makes you feel secure without really selling you the car. Same for Tesla. They sell you, you know what, the power of the car and the social responsibility of the environment. And it's also a status car. So it's about how these cars make us feel. And that's what we need to start thinking about. Our brand, how does it make people feel? It's all about engaging emotionally through the hearts. And most importantly, in your branding, don't get caught in the trap that you want to be everything for everyone. Or to be a jack of all trades. Jack of all trades is master of none. And you will end up being nothing to nobody. And a lot of people, especially when they start, they think that if I throw like a big net on everyone, I'm gonna make more money. And this could not be the furthest away from the truth. Because when you go after everyone, your message gets diluted. And that's why there is something called segmentation of the market. You have to understand who is your audience and who is your segment in a very pure, articulate way and crystal clear way, because this is the only way you can be able to give them your message in the way they want to hear it. Because every segment of the market speaks in a different language, as we're going to see as we go in the presentation today. So the perceptions actually is more important than reality in marketing and branding. And I want to let you know that there are too many choices in the market. And that's why in order for you to stand out, you have to be outstanding. I see a couple of things in the chat room. I'm going to look at it in a second. So there are 3 rules of the road. The first one, it's not about you. The second road, it's the rule of the road, it's not about your product or your service. And the third one, it's not about what you know, it's about what your customers think and want. And I got like really shocked when I started my business, and my mentor told me that, because I was going through my brand and my business from my own head, what I thought is important, what I thought will appeal to people, without really getting out there and looking what my customers need or want. So she told me very bluntly one day, and in these words, she said, no one cares about you. No one cares about your product or your service. No one cares about how much you know. All what they care about is, what are you giving them that is going to change their life? What are you giving them that is going to add value to their life? And since then, I started thinking about everything in a different way, you know, and it just like, this is what we need to remember. We need to step out, because believe it or not, our biggest obstacle that is standing in front of us, is who we see in the mirror. So we need to get out of our head as entrepreneur and as business owners and look at what the clients want and customers need. It's all about them, and it has nothing to do with you. Even when you name your business, you have to think what will appeal to other people rather than anything else. So I want you to start thinking this way. It's not about me. It's not about my product or my service. It's not about what I know, but about what value I'm adding to my customers. Same as Volvo, you know, it's not about the car, it's about the safety of the car. Even Hyundai started doing commercials. If anyone watched TV commercials, they started like having a full family with little kids in the back, and they are touring the United States, going to different monuments, and then the kids grow. And basically their message is like, Hyundai is great for, I'm sorry, Subaru. Subaru is great so you can build memories with your family. They're not selling the car, they're selling the benefits of the benefits. And that's how you need to start thinking about your brand. What transformation are you doing in the life of your clients and customers? What is the value that you're adding to their life? And once you start thinking this way, your whole way of thinking about branding will definitely change. So rules of the road, it's about what the services and what the businesses or products that you're offering, what they mean, not just what they are. And we used to say, you know, in the old days, build it and they will come. Just have a website there and everybody will flock to it. It's no longer the truth. It's about, yes, having a good website. And I rather see you with a functional website than a website that has all the bells and whistles. You know, functional meaning that it's high in SEO or search engine optimization, that it can be ranked on page 1 of Google. Because I have news for you. If you get on page 2 of Google search, you don't exist for the customer. So you have to make sure that not only you have your website, but you make it the hub for everything else that you have online. So everything that you have, you know, your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, you know, will lead people back to your website, because this is where you want to attract your customer. This is where you want to show them the services or the product that you're selling and connect with them, because you already hooked them through your social media or even your offline marketing campaigns. You are hooking them just to go back to your website. And I want to remind you also that what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas anymore. So we have to be mindful of how our brand looks, what our brands represents, because everything is online. So a part of what branding means, like I have been talking about the value of the value. For example, we say in the factory, we make skin products, right? But in the store, we sell hope. So we make skin products in the factory, but in the store, we sell hope. People come to a store to buy skin products. Why? Because they want to look better. They want to have more self-confidence, have better hope in meeting people, in being accepted, in being loved. So we need to go into the psychology of our customer. And it takes, and I invite you, if you're going to do that again from scratch, I want you to really go deep into the persona of your audience. And this is the only way you're going to be able to deliver to them what they want and expect, not what you think is important for you. So how is a brand expressed? A brand is expressed through your bio, and your bio is the biggest part of your brand, because usually we talk about unique selling proposition. Your uniqueness will always come in your story. So I invite you, when you write your bio, to write it from the heart, from the core, and put it in I statements, meaning in first person. Not Miss Andrade did this. The minute I start saying Miss Andrade did this, I'm already putting a distance between myself and between my customer. But when I say I used to do this, I did this, I did that, I'm becoming a person that they can connect with. And also another reminder, people do not connect with businesses. People connect with people. And when they connect with people, they do business with them. Because there is a trust factor in here. They need to trust who you are as a business owner, no matter how big you are. Even if you are a brand like Coca-Cola, I need to trust the brand and maybe start knowing who is the CEO, what is their values, more or less. And this is the way you can connect with a brand. And again, the big companies like Coca-Cola and Procter & Gamble started years and like hundreds of years ago. So maybe whatever applied to them when they applied does not apply to us anymore. Because I usually hear it like, what about Coca-Cola? They're not doing that. Well, you're not Coca-Cola yet. So we need to follow the rules and the road of the proper branding. The headshot, your picture. Like, for example, I do this branding, and we were just talking this morning about, Lisette was mentioning that she heard an influencer saying slop cheek. So we make sure that we look okay, because guess what? It's part of our brand and how we appear to people. Our voice, and voice doesn't only mean a physical voice, but the way we write, our messaging, our articulation of our word, how we appear in prints, how we look like, dressing, grooming, etiquettes on how we deal with people. And sometimes we could be branded for the lack of etiquettes. And that's why we have to be careful how to communicate either online or offline, our opinions. And we need to remember something. Businesses are neutral. Businesses should not, unless this is part of your business, you should not go political or religious. If you want to do that, you can do it on your personal profiles, but not on your business profile. Self-development should be always part of who you are as an entrepreneur. So why are people the best kept secret in town, no matter how good they are? Because we live in a world of distraction. The attention span of people is very minimal. Like, for example, they say the attention span for a millennial is 12 seconds. The attention span for a Z is 8 seconds. And even us, either we are X or baby boomers, our attention span is becoming less and less. And we are very easily distracted because we are bombarded by messages every single second of our life. But within all this distraction and all these messages, we will only retain whatever is clear, whatever is engaging us emotionally, and whatever will solve my problem in an easy and, most importantly, in a convenient way. So part of what we do, and as brands, some brands do to remain the best kept secret, or for people not to really deal with the brand, is that we confuse our customers. So we share just the process about this is our step, and we are the best product because our process is environmentally safe, and we do step 1, 2, 3, and that's all we talk about. Honestly, no one cares about the process. They don't, and this way, they don't even know what you offer. Or we don't know what is our uniqueness and what are you different. And we don't share our why or our values. And many times I ask an entrepreneur, so what do you think makes you unique? How are you different from others? And they have no answers for that. Or they tell me, oh, I have the best customer service, I have the best prices, I have great experience. All that is not uniqueness. Every single business, no matter what industry they are in, say the same things exactly. So you have to find something that is typically unique to you and who you are. So that's how we need to think about. So common branding mistakes is that business owners usually hide behind their business and don't talk about themselves at all. And like I said, people will make business with people and not with businesses, or not with something that is kind of no life to it. They want to make sure of who you are, how you can help them as a person, you know, because as a business owner, you are the credibility behind the business. You are the experience. You are the vision. And that's why the personal touch that you bring will build that trust factor. So they say, for example, whatever you spend 10,000 hours on, either studying, practicing, reading about, you know, offering, you become an expert in that domain. And that's what people want. People want credibility. And that's why you have to build your brand based that you are an expert in what you do. You are credible in what you do. And a lot of people think, I don't know much, but this is what I know. And let me tell you something. Whatever you know, there is another person that knows less than what you know, and that will need your knowledge. So we can, again, don't let be a small business owner make you small-minded. Whatever you have, there is a need for it in the market. The name of the game is how you brand yourself to do it. For example, and the more you segment your market and you become an expert in that niche, the more people are willing to pay more money, believe it or not. It's exactly like if you go to a doctor, if you have a heart problem, who will you pay money for? Who will you build more, who will you pay more money to? A GP, a general practitioner, or a cardiologist? Obviously the cardiologist. Why? Because he's an expert and you know that he has the tools to solve specifically your problem. So you become that. You become the credibility. You become the expert behind the brand. And please, if you are a sole proprietor, don't use titles like CEO and president, you know. It doesn't really help, and people can just check online and know that you are a one-person business, and it doesn't make you better or smaller or whatever. Just offer. I would rather you use a title that makes people understand what is it that you're offering, like consultant of, or doing consulting for, or something, but not necessarily CEO and president. And on a lot of websites, I see the contact generic email, like a Gmail or a Hotmail or a Yahoo Mail. No, no, no. This is not part of your brand. Your brand has to be professional. You can get a professional email based on your domain name for $1.99 a month. And if I'm a business and you are trying to contact me to do business with me, and I see a Gmail and I'm like, if you can't invest in yourself $1.99 a month, why should I invest in you? So this all about appearance, about branding. So why your message is falling on deaf ears? Because first of all, it's not about you. You always have to put yourself in your customer's shoes and how their brain thinks. So our brain has been created to do two things: survive and move forward, and save as much effort and not to get fatigued at all. Our brain wants to do the least to make us survive. So to survive is, for example, how you help them save money, how you get them status, how they can advance in life in positive way with the least amount of effort in a convenient way. Start thinking about your brand this way. How can you give that to your client? And you need to save effort, and some people call it save calories. So you tune out whatever doesn't appeal to you or whatever you don't see of value and whatever will not add to my survival. So your brand has to be one of two things, or maybe both together. How you can make people succeed, survive, and move forward, and how to save effort, and tell them how basically you're going to help them thrive. So like I said, emotional engagement, consistent across the board. I'm summarizing that. Evoke like emotional connection first, and you can be everything to everyone. This is like basically recapturing what we said so far so we can move forward. Vision and mission are part of your brand, are actually a very important part of your brand. Thomas Edison said that vision without execution is hallucination. So stop saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and just do it. Do not wait for perfection, because there is nothing called perfection in this life. When you look for perfection, you're actually procrastinating. And procrastination is rooted in fear. So perfection by definition means that you need to release something and perfect it as you go. If you don't execute an idea, the idea will die in the island of ideas. So you need to start executing stuff and then see how it works and make it better. So the vision, and a lot of people get confused between vision and mission. So the vision, basically, as you know, everything starts with a vision. And the other domain where we use vision is basically what we see with our eyes. So whatever your vision statement has to be something that you not only see, that you can actually see in front of your eyes, but you can share it with other people so they can see what you see. So it's what you want to become, and it should be inspiring. And vision usually answers the question, why? Why are you doing what you do? And why is a big part of your brand. I mean, Simon Sinek is the one that started really all this revolution with the why. And when you share your why, people will be part of who you want them to be, either your audience or your team or your tribe, because the value that you share will pull you together. And the vision describes your future. Usually a vision statement is short, 2 or 3 short statements on how you see yourself and why you're doing what you're doing and how you are helping others. Why you're helping others. The mission statements will answer what and how you're doing what you're doing to achieve your why. So it's more specific, and it describes in words what you do, where you're going, and definitely how you're different from others. So a mission statement is a little bit longer than actually the vision statement. And sometimes I ask my entrepreneur when I help them, and I say, so what's your vision and mission statement? I said, oh, it's in my business plan. It's your vision. It's your mission. You should know them by heart, because it's what you have in your heart. It's part of your brand. It's part of who you are. And you should know them like that. So if you need to rethink it, go back to the scratch board and start rethinking it again. And then we have vision, mission, and then what we have, the value proposition, or basically unique selling proposition. And this is where a lot of people trip. They cannot think about what makes you unique, you know? And so, like I said, in order to stand out, Tony Robbins says that you need to be outstanding. If you don't know what makes you unique, if you are unable to articulate your best qualities, skills, strong points, services, guess what? No one else can do that for you, and no one else will even understand what is it that you offer. And most importantly, like I said before, your uniqueness will usually come from your story. Like when I started doing diversity and inclusion, and I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do? What is unique about me? And I was speaking to a friend and we were just like helping each other. And then it came to me like, oh my God, I grew up in 7 different countries. You know, and I was like, I did cross-cultural marketing for airlines where I opened different offices in different cultures and different countries. That was my unique selling proposition, that I bring diversity and I bring cultural competence as a first-hand experience, not something that I read in a book. And that was my unique proposition, basically, that I had to offer. But we have to dig deep on who we are to find our uniqueness. So think about, what's your edge? What stands out about you? When friends and family around you want help with a specific subject and they come to you, what is that specific subject that they come to you and they don't go to anyone else? What differentiates you? What is the unique value that you offer that will make me come to you and either use your product or buy your services and not go to your competition? What solution do you bring to me as a client, customer? What gap are you filling in my life? What pain are you minimizing for me, or what pleasure are you increasing? All these, you have to think about all these in a very methodic, in a method that has to be step by step. What's your edge? What makes you stand out? Your strong point, even your weak point. What is unique about you that no one else does? What differentiates you? What value do you offer? What solution do you bring, or what gap do you fill? What pinpoints are you going to help me take away from my life, or how you're going to increase pleasure? But here I need to tell you something. As human beings, out of 10 people, 7 people will pay more money to decrease their pain rather than increase their pleasure, because our brain is set on survival and avoid pain rather than look for pleasure. So I actually have a formula for you that you can use as your unique selling proposition. And this way you don't have to go all over the place and think, what is it? So you say, I help or I serve, and you put the audience, and your audience has to be very specific, like a niche, like a segment, that are or in need, and I would put what is their problem or their pain. 2, how you help them or what you do. What is the solution that you offer? Buy, and I would put 1, 2, and 3 tools that I have. Basically, my uniqueness. If you go through this and you remember this formula, no matter what you do, even if you have different audiences because you're offering different products, you can tailor make this unique selling proposition to each one of your audience. So I help serve audience that are in need of 2 by 2. Like, for example, if I'm helping entrepreneurs, I will say I help small business owners and startup that are in need of branding themselves to start or expand their business to increase their revenue by offering them marketing alignment, branding exercises, and helping them with their business plan. This is my unique selling proposition. So I want you to think about that. The unique selling proposition, after that, there is something actually that is a little bit more sophisticated than the unique selling proposition, that is called the elevator pitch. And an elevator pitch is when you meet someone and they ask you, what is it that you do? And I want to remind you that being a manager, being a leader, being a business owner, it's not what you do. It's not who you are. It's part of your identity. So the elevator pitch should be a little bit more tailored. So for example, you say, my name is, and then you put your title or what you do, entrepreneur, business owner. I work with, I help, or I service. Who is your customer or target market? Who experience pain and issue? So far we see it part of what we did as a U.S.P, but we add more. we add, I offer, what is the solution that you offer, which is different than my competition by, and you end it with a call to action. Like, let's meet, let's talk, get my free ebook, get or let's get on a free consultation. So this is an elevator pitch. It's a little bit more sophisticated than the unique selling proposition, but it has the elements and the core of the unique selling proposition. And if you remember this and you use it no matter where you are, and it's called elevator pitch because it's how you introduce yourself from like a top floor to the down floor in an elevator, which is basically 30 seconds to 60 seconds. If you follow this order, you can like capture people like that with your brand, and it basically your brand will be totally clear. So who is your audience? Eben Pagan, that is the father of digital marketing, he says that a need many people have that your products fill. So the process of targeting a niche is a segment of the market, is about finding a need, a specific need that a lot of people or many people are looking for, or they want to have a solution for it. Then we create and we offer them that solution. And something that we say in marketing and in branding, riches in niches. And it's about the psychodemographics, not only demographics, but like gender, age, income, education. But now they added psychodemographics, meaning what is their culture? Where do they come from? What pushes them to buy something? How do they go in a sales funnel? And I know this sound might like, oh my God, it's too much. Actually, it's not. It's done by surveying who your customer is. Specifically now that social media opens the door for you to contact so many people, that you can ask your customer, do a survey, follow up with people, ask your friends, ask your family, what is it that they're looking for? And like I always say, when someone comes and tells me, I have an idea that has never been done before, and I have an idea that I'm sure no one else thought about before, I start worrying. You know why? Because maybe no one has done it before because it doesn't have a market. Or maybe because it's not well known yet. And that doesn't mean that this idea will never work. That's not what I'm saying. But it means that you're going to have to work double on making sure that your brand reaches the people that might need that solution for that market. So who is your audience? For example, when you brand to women, it's not about like their age or their socioeconomic only, but actually you market or brand to women based on their lifespan. So they are a little girl, then they go to school, and then they go to high school. Then they prepare to go to college when they start dating, really seriously dating. And then they get engaged. And then they are a bride-to-be. And then they are a bride. Then they are a pregnant woman. Then they are a mother of a child, of an infant. Then a child, then a mother of a child. Then a mother of a teenager that will go to college. And then she's an empty nester. And then she's a grandmother. So it's not about only the demographics, but about what lifespan, where is she in her life? And that is different branding technique and even marketing technique for her. And that's why we need to know really well who the audience is. So I'm going to start to give you the technique on how to do your branding that will appeal to people. So look at your audience and what do they want? That's the most, it's all about your audience. It's not about you. Look at their problem. And the problem can be internal or external. So you could have a product or a service. Like, for example, if I am marketing to women that are during maybe their 20s, 30s, and even 40s, and I'm trying to sell them this bottle of water, how I'm gonna sell it? I mean, everybody will tell me, oh, it's geyser, it's natural, it tastes great. So, but for me to stand out as a brand, and it might sound crazy to some of you, but this is how branding works. I will say, I have this bottle of water that comes from a geyser that is natural, that tastes great. The plastic of the bottle is actually biodegradable, so it's good for the environment. When you drink it, your pH becomes balanced. So you hydrate your inside and you rejuvenate your inside. It will reflect on your skin. Your skin will become radiant. You become more self-confident. You smile more. You attract other people to your life. You attract your better half, and you get married and you live happily ever after. And I know it might think it's a crazy idea, but that's how branding works. I'm not really selling the bottle of water. I'm selling you a happy life after that. I'm selling you self-confidence. I mean, we can cut it at any time, but I'm just giving you the long version of it. It's about the value, the transformation. So I will talk about the transformation, about how you smile more, how you are more self-confident, how you see yourself beautiful, how you're attracting the right people in your life. It's no longer about the water. And only this, who doesn't want to look pretty? Who doesn't want to look radiant? Who doesn't want to look smiling? Who doesn't want to attract, specifically in that period of life, right? Or even later. Who doesn't want to have all that? So it's no longer about the water. I'm hooking them emotionally because I want to give them the service or the product that can help them in the life. And then we look at what is the pain that I want to decrease for them, or the pleasure that I might increase. And I usually go for the pain points rather than the pleasure that I'm saying. So you might ask me, what do you mean by pain points? We're gonna talk about that in a second. Remember, you as a product or as a service, you become the guide for them that understand their concerns and pains. And you do that by doing two things in your brand. One, you connect emotionally with them and show them empathy, that you understand where they're coming from, or what we call the connection. And then you make sure that you tell them why you are the best authority and what are your credentials in giving them that solution. And then you offer the solution. And if the solution is a plan that is basically a plan that the best addressing their pain and what is the plan, that will be the best thing that you can have. And then you cannot just leave it there by offering the solution. You have to put a call to action, or what we call CTA. You have to tell them what action they need to do. Because people can come to your product or service or even your website and say, oh, it's nice, and then they leave. And that's why you need to tell them what to do. So when you why you put the call to action? Because you can only motivate people if you show them they have something to gain or something to lose. So what do? Through the call to action, you tell them, if you do not use my products or my services, or if you don't do this, these are the last points that you're gonna have, bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you use my product, or if you do something like this, this is your success. These are the bullet points that result. So there is a new sequence for branding, and the new sequence starts by pain points, 3 to 5 bullet points about the pain points that they're suffering from. Then the connection, like, I know exactly how you feel because, and then you talk about yourself no longer than 2 or 3 sentences. And then you share the solution that you have and why it's the best solution, and then the call to action. If you follow this sequence in your homepage, in a blog that you write, in a video that you do, you will capture their attention because you're talking to them. And I want people, when you put the pain points, I want them to say, oh my God, she gets me. Oh my God, he feels exactly how I feel. And this how you can engage them emotionally. So you need to talk, like I said, about the transformation. You are taking them from point 1 to point B. Like they are gonna be like, for example, if they were not drinking a lot of water, they are dehydrated, their skin is dull, to look that their skin is shiny. and they are more self-confident. So you have to go back and start thinking, if they're going to use my product or my services, what is the transformation I'm giving them? And that's all they care about. They don't really care about the process on how to get there. Like, for example, if, and this is another crazy example, like if I want to go to Seychelles, I don't really care what airline you're going to fly me on, or even if you're going to put me on a cruise or on a ship. All what I care about is how I'm going to have fun in Seychelles. So remember that. It's about the transformation, not the process. So I want you to test your brand. Is your message clear and simple on how you specifically can help your customers survive and thrive? Can they name, when the minute they read the upper half of your website, what we call the upper fold, when they read that, or they have it on a cell phone, because 75% of the people look for information on cell phone. When they look at that, can they define right away the problem that you help them solve? Or you have a compelling story? Is it engaging them emotionally because you are identifying their needs, their fears, and their desire? And let me tell you something, don't just mention it, but over and over. Remember, fear is the best factor sometimes for motivation. So you have to keep talking about their desire and fears over and over. So that's how you can test your brand. So the framework that you can work on to have your brand is create a system that you can get people and name it anything, give it any name, like the road to success, the road to wealth, you know. So it starts, like I said, by the desire or fear or the pinpoints. And if you don't know how I can get the pinpoints, because some people get challenged with that, I want you to start thinking, what is it that the transformation or the benefit that I offer? And reverse engineer that. If they didn't have that, what will be the problem? And like, for example, if they didn't have the water to hydrate their skin, what will be their problem? Reverse engineer it, that they can have skin that looks dull. So what is the pinpoint of a person that has dull skin? That maybe not self-confident, they don't want to be seen, they want to hide, they are introverts, they don't want to be part, they don't want to be social. So this is the pinpoints. And usually pinpoints are the best when you say, have you ever? Like, for example, again, using the water and the skin. Have you ever felt like you want to hide because you don't think you look attractive, or you don't think that, you know, you smile a lot? Or have you ever felt like being an introvert because you don't trust yourself being in a crowd? Something like that. So you start with 3 to 5 points. Make sure that your message is clear about the solution or the plan that you have, and make sure that you end it with a very strong CTA or call to action. Also, clear, articulate transformation that you're bringing to their life. And also, have you made sure that you shared clearly the negatives or the failure that they're gonna suffer if they do not engage their services, your services or your product? You have to make that clear as well. So the success of transformation is in the wording that you use or the language that you use. So for example, are you clearly sharing how your customer will feel, emotional engagement, will feel after they use your product or service? Have you shared how their internal problems that they have will be solved using your product or your service? Have you shared a full list of benefits or results if they use your product or your service? Did you communicate clearly why they should buy your service and your product? So all these are tests, and I keep like basically repeating them so it becomes part of our normal logic, because this is how branding works. And also, when you talk this, so we talked about the transformation or success, we need to talk about the failure also. Are we clear in sharing the consequences if they don't buy our product, our services? But one word of advice, do not use fear like crazy, like COVID, oh, we're all gonna die. No, share fear in moderation as a motivation and not overuse it. Because remember, if fear gets hold of the brain, it's basically you're putting your foot on the brakes rather than the gas pedal. So you have to have that balance where both of them can make it. Yes, you have a little bit of break because you have to think what will happen if I don't use that product or service, but also you cannot take your foot from that gas pedal to move forward. So steps to take, the first thing is look at what website. What we call the upper fold. Usually the eye, when they look at a website, they look at it in a Z formatting, like this, Z formatting. So the top left side has to be the name of your company or your logo. The top left side has to be a box with a very clear call to action. So call us for a complimentary consultation, call us for free code, call us for whatever, or let's talk about a model, whatever it is that you are selling, the call to action has to be right there. In the diagonal of the upper half of what the screen shows, it has to tell me as a customer, what is it that you offer? And how you're gonna help me. Basically, your unique selling proposition has to be there. And the lower part of the Z has to be like a form where they enter their email, their name and email, so they can get something for free for you. And we're gonna talk about that in a second. So how does your upper fold look in a website? Do you have your call to action on the right top side? And your call to action has to be repeated throughout the page. Do you have a free lead magnet of value? And a lead magnet can be an ebook, a report, a white paper, 3 things to avoid, 5 things to do to increase something that is of value that you give them, because giving you their email address is a commodity. They have to feel that they barter for a value. And remember, mailing lists is your net worth. Your network is your net worth. So you need to start building this email sequence. What images are you using that connect with the customer's result? And most importantly, do these images have an alt text or alternative text? Because as we know, Google does not read images. So if you have an image that doesn't have an alternative text or an alt text, Google will see it as a white space and you're actually losing on your SEO. Is your site cluttered? Make sure that it has clean space, white, that it's very well organized. Is it easy? Are you showing them how easy it is to connect with you? Like on my website, I say, click on the link, look at my calendar, book a time for consultation. 1, 2, 3. People need to be told, what do you want them to do? Do you have a tagline or a slogan, and is it repeated? And most importantly, do you have a promotional video? Promotional video, like a video, is the second best at meeting someone in person. So follow the same format, maybe a minute and a half. Pinpoints, connection, solution. Why it's the best solution? Call to action. So Kajabi, that is one of the biggest platforms now that exists. They have a hero, call it a Hero University, and they said if you want your message or your branding message to attract people or to get to people, they say people will do anything for those that encourage their dreams, that justify their failures, that allay their fears, that confirm their suspicions, that help them throw rocks at their enemies. So for example, encourage the dreams. Like, I know that you have been thinking about building this business from scratch, and this is a dream because you want to help your family and you want to leave a legacy to your children, and it's the right thing to do, and guess what? You are in the right place. Justify the failure. I know that you might have tried things before and that you have bought one program after the other just for it not to work for you, and I understand because I have been through the same thing. I spent thousands of dollars trying to buy guru programs that never worked. And I know that you might be fearful now that you don't have a lot of money. So I'm giving you a 60-day money back guarantee that no matter what happens, if you don't like it, if you don't think that we're serving you the right way, we will refund all your money, no question asked. And I know that you might think that it was you, but it wasn't you, because this is what confirms suspicions. This is what gurus do. They sell you a product and they promise you making 6 figures in 2 weeks, but all what they want is to upsell the next offer and the next offer so they can make more money. And have them throw rocks at their enemies, meaning like, we're not there anymore and we're gonna prove everybody wrong and we're gonna shine and we're gonna succeed. So this is basically how you can put a message together, a branding message together. What is the unfulfilled desire that your product fills? What is it? How are you better than your competition? And most importantly, how memorable you are. So this was the end of the presentation. And I want to let you know that I'm starting an entrepreneur group master coaching in September. It's going to be for 3 months. It will have videos, homework, and it will have live calls with me. I'm not sure yet how much it's going to be, but I'm putting it together. If you are interested in having any information, just please email me at Sahar@saharconsulting.com. Sahar@saharconsulting.com.